heartbreaking update from the Derek Chauvin trial for the murder of George Floyd. Check this out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. Again with our friend Debbie Hines, a trial lawyer, legal political commentator, former prosecutor. In fact, she was the assistant attorney general for the state of Maryland earlier in her career. Our website is I am Debbie. It's D-E-B-B-I-E, Hines, Hines.com. And that's also her Twitter handle, I am Debbie Hines. And Debbie, welcome back. I'm wondering why so many people in the media are saying that it's normal police procedure to kneel on someone's neck for 9.5 minutes. I'm confused by that.
You know, I'm kind of confused by that, too. I mean, there's nothing normal about that, and particularly in this case with George Floyd, where he was not resisting arrest, he was not moving, he was completely pinned down, prone. And if you've listened to any of the law enforcement, the police officers like former Chief Ramsey, who used to be chief in D.C., you know, they've said that there was no threat, that the police are allowed to use some type of reasonable force. But in the case of Mr. Floyd, he wasn't doing anything to cause the use of force, and definitely not for now that we know it's 9 minutes and 29 seconds, which, you know, comes out to be 569 seconds that he had him pinned down in that way.
Yeah, and just try holding your breath for even half that length. It ain't possible. Debbie, so
right.
what's happened in the trial today? Bring us up to date.
So, you know, it's really interesting because before the trial began, I mean, I had my doubts, which there really shouldn't be any doubts based on the evidence that, you know, is presented, just even on what everyone has seen with the video. But you can't just show, the prosecution can't just show the video and sit down and say, you know, it's a wrap. They have to put forth evidence. So I think we have a little bit of where we're going, and actually putting the witnesses with the video, I think, is absolutely compelling. So starting really with the last witness that was on just before the lunch break, they're on the lunch break right now, is a minor, so we don't know her name. They're only using her initials and not showing her face to the public, but she's obviously in court, and everyone in the jury, and it's important, can see her. And she's a young woman who's 18 now, and she took the video last year on May 25th. And, you know, it's just compelling what she said. I mean, she said that she's not the type of person to want to put herself out there. Her video has gone viral, and she said she wasn't that type of person to want to have the spotlight in any way, but she felt that she had to do it based on everything that was shown in the video. And the interesting thing is, she said, which is where we closed before lunch today, the defense made a mistake with her, and they asked her, you know, how did she they tried to ask her, you know, but she was the one that showed the video, and trying to get a response from her about it being viral and her feeling good about that. And on redirect, she was asked, how did she feel? And what she said was, you know, George Floyd could have been her father, her brother, her cousins, her uncle, because she's black, anyone in her family. And the sad part was when she said that every night she goes to bed, she apologizes to George Floyd for not doing more to save his life. But she said, it wasn't for me to do, it was for Chauvin to do. That's where we left off at lunchtime.
Oh my God, what a
that's
heavy...
pretty, yeah, that's very, you know, and that's just so compelling, because you can feel the emotions from the witnesses, from what they went through, through by watching a man die, as well as the other witness. The one before her was Donald Wilson, who was an MMA mixed martial arts fighter who watched everything. And, you know, he basically said that at the end he called 911. And he was asked, the police were on the scene. Why did you call 911? He said, I called the police on the police because I didn't trust the police that were there, because they had no humanity.
Yeah. Now, I understand that George Floyd was actually put in the back of the police car, handcuffed, with his hands behind his back, handcuffed, put in the back of the police car, totally contained at that point. And then the cops decided to drag him out of the car, throw him on the ground, and Derek Chauvin did this thing for 9.5 minutes, 9 minutes, 29 seconds. You know, you're a former prosecutor. Isn't that the sort of thing, doesn't that seem like at that point Chauvin and his buddies had made the decision, we're going to kill this man. Or we're going to at least punish him.
That's the reason why I felt, as a former prosecutor, that there was more than enough for the prosecutor, Keith Ellison, to bring first-degree murder charges, because he was in the car. They could have just taken him away. He was handcuffed, but for whatever reason, which we don't know the reason on Chauvin's part, we could only speculate, they took him out of the car and then have him prone down in a chokehold for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. Which ultimately killed him, even to the point of when he was unconscious. When the when firefighters on the scene that were just bystanders asked, could you check his pulse, because it was apparent that he had no pulse at that time, whether he was unconscious or dead or not, and they wouldn't do it. So it was clear from just looking at it that Chauvin intended to do serious bodily harm to George Floyd.
Yeah, he was, it was his heart that failed, right? This is the ultimate, quote, cause of death?
Well, that depends on which autopsy report you go with. So the county prosecutor's report said, yes, his heart failed as a result, complicating of, in essence, the officer's knee on him. But the independent prosecutor's report said, no, it was from exactly what we saw. He was basically strangled to death.